Hello traders, welcome to today's video, and Bitcoin is finally moving again. We finally have a bit of action on the charts in which to talk about. It's been a couple of weeks of very boring sideways price action since we had that dip on the 13th with the CPI data and that big low that got put in that I was aping into those long positions on, and finally we have hit probably the main target for that particular trade. It's taken a couple of weeks to play out. But as for the swing trades and some of the altcoin positions, we finally come up to a point today where I feel very happy to be taking a lot of profit on those longs and switching back into short positions. So we will of course cover that in this video. We're going to look at Bitcoin, we're going to look at some of the legacy markets, and we will of course look at some of the altcoins that we've been watching closely over the past few weeks as well. But let's just start here with Bitcoin, okay? Finally, after 6 weeks that this has been on my chart, 20,750, 20,800, depending on your tick size, we finally hit it, okay? We have finally hit it. I've been talking about this for a long time, and for me, this is probably the biggest level on the chart right now within this range that we're currently in that is going to determine whether we are going to see a move up towards $24,000, $25,000, $26,000, or whether we're going to reject and see a move back down towards $17,000, $18,000. Okay, this level really for me is huge. Okay, there's a lot of confluence there. It isn't just this MPOC. This is what has been used as like the marker for big confluence. And we'll go over onto the chart and just have a look at that. Well, actually, let's have a look at it right now. So hit the like button, hit subscribe, go check out torrescrypto.com. We've got the spin the wheel up on the website. Actually, I'll do that right now. Let me just bring up the website. So if you do go on to torrescrypto.com here, there will be a big old spin the wheel that will pop up when you're looking at it. This scale is very weird, isn't it? I don't know why this is so off. But anyway, you get the idea. You get the idea. If you do go over to torrescrypto.com, there will be a spin the wheel thing that comes up where you can get some discounts on crew memberships. You can get some trial memberships. There is ExoCharts memberships being given away. And also we are going to be doing a raffle next Monday on Halloween, which we'll be announcing on Friday. Okay, so you can win a raffle entry for that raffle. So you do go and check that out before we get started. And yeah, let's get back onto the charts. So Bitcoin, yeah, big level. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just show you why there is so much confluence within this. So not only is it this daily MPOC, but we also have some nice confluence alongside that. So take a look at the fixed range pool. Price will often, so the high volume nodes are where you are looking to actionable areas to get a reaction if you're coming into that, or they're just naturally areas where you're looking to build balance and price is likely to get stuck within those. Now you have these low volume nodes as well, and they almost act as a magnet for price. And this is the first time really that we've come into this low volume area on the chart here since, I mean, again, since last month. Okay, we've just been in this high volume, this really balanced region on the chart here where you're looking at high volume all within here. So this has been building balance for the best part of, I'd say, well, 6 weeks. And even if you go all the way back here, the fact that we're seeing all of the volume down at the lows there shows to me that this is a fairly major area of balance, and we are either looking at this as being a big accumulation, which is going to get us quite a significant markup, which is why, like I say, looking to $24,000, $25,000, $26,000, or we are at this point going to fail as we come into low volume. We're not going to be able to get that volume to push through it. We're going to reverse back down, and this will then become resistance. So it is very important where we are right now. And these low volume nodes do act as a magnet for price, and it's up to Bitcoin now, and it's up to the market itself to decide whether it's going to push through that or whether it's going to fail, return into balance. And if it does return into balance, at that point, I think it's very likely that we see this as being a fake out, and we're going to drop quite significantly lower. So that, first of all, is very important on the chart. we do, of course, have to be aware of the value area high up here, which is also coming in at a really good level. You can see these daily levels that are closing consistently around there, a small deviation up at these highs here, but you can see this is a really good SR level. So if we are going to push through, then 21,600 is going to be very important as we do push through this low volume area back into high volume again and into that value area high. So be aware of that level, okay? 21,500, 21,600. You've also got the daily order block just above there. But back to the confluence of what we have here, okay? Use your fib pools. So first of all, we are at the 382. If you go from the high of the entire range all the way down to the low here, we've hit that 382, which is there at 20,794. Secondly, okay, you go for the more local pool. So you go from your 1 here down to your 0 here, and you've got your 618 just above here, okay, so 20,990. So we're still looking at that 20,750 to 21k region just being critical right now for this to push through if we are going to see a return up towards these highs, or if we're going to see a big failure here and come out the other end. Okay, in addition to that, okay, the third level of confluence that we do have here is if you do pull your 1-to-1, you can see right here, let me just remove these ones. Okay, so if you're going to go from your low to your high to your low again, we are hitting perfectly that 618 on your kind of your fib extension tool from this as well. Now, thanks to Roynek, one of the amazing Taurus staff members, for pointing this out today. I hadn't actually noticed that we'd done this. But yeah, shout out to Roynek for that. I hadn't seen that, and that just adds another level of confluence to this level. So this is really, really nice, really, really clean, and you can see just when you start to stack things up here why this is such a big level to be looking at. Okay, so that is, I mean, that's really Bitcoin. There's not too much more to say on it. I am waiting to see. I do think that we're going to form a range here. I have taken a short from 20,750. Okay, these were limit orders that have been there for a while, so I have closed out of not all, but a decent amount of my long position from those lows a couple of weeks ago. I've closed a lot of those there. I've also closed a lot of the altcoins, and I am looking for a range to form here. What becomes really important support now for myself is really this more local range that we do have going on. Okay, so if we just take off these from the chart again, let's just leave this one on here. What I do not want to see now, okay, is price coming back into value. Okay, I want to see price holding up here. This little 4-hour order block that we see is quite significant, okay, because that does line up with previous resistance. So you can see resistance coming in there around about 20,200, resistance there again, and then we are breaking through that. So if we are going to see a range, I would like to see a range within that zone here, and keeping away from the old range. So that for me would be, I guess, the bullish scenario. Okay, you chill out for a little bit, you allow the moving averages to kind of catch up, you allow the VWAPs to catch up, you allow just volume to settle back down again, and then you go and work on the rest of the single prints that we do have higher up here. Okay, so that for me is very important. Okay, I'm looking at a range. I mean, you can just draw this on very simply, a range somewhere or something like this that I would be looking to play over the next few days or so there. If you go on to the TPO again, you can see that we have left behind a couple of MPOCs. Okay, so that for me isn't important at this stage. If we are looking at a breakout going to the top of the range, this had plenty of time to build value, and you have just settled each time you had a markup. Okay, so we don't have to come back and fill those, but it is, if you do start getting back into that value area again, if you do start to drop below 20,200, which is our current POC of the day, if we do drop below that, then I do think that it does make these levels lower down, 18,950, 19,275 and lower, very, very likely. So yeah, I think that's enough on Bitcoin really. I want to keep things fairly simple on there. There's not too much more to say on this. Let's go over onto Ethereum. Okay, so Ethereum has also come into a really, really critical area on the chart here. And I do think that we could see a slight push higher on this. I think although Bitcoin has put in a really good high, and that could be something fairly major that's going to hold it for a while. I think Ethereum could see one more push higher into this order block that we do have up here. So this is where we were looking to take the longs. Okay, we had that level of support. We came back in to test the previous range. Once again, that's okay. You can come back in to test the previous range, but what is important is it did not get stuck within that. Okay, it didn't get stuck below that POC. It just managed to hold. It came down here, hit into that 1-to-1. So if you go in from your A, B, C into the 1-to-1 there, a perfect bounce off of that. And now from your local pools here, you've just hit that 0.618. And just above there, if we go on to the daily, then this is giving us a nice order block. Pretty clean. Okay, so you can see that pretty clean here, this OB that we have just above. So this really being that golden zone that you would potentially look for shorts to take it back down to these lows again if we're going to go below $800 or whatever, or if we are going to push through that, and that very much depends on what Bitcoin and what the macro and what the legacy markets are doing. Are we going to push through this and see a move back up towards, well, above $2,000 once again here? Because realistically, okay, you've not got a whole lot on the chart above that is to be considered as major resistance. You do have another OB here, but I mean, how close that came last time? Similar situation to what we're seeing right now. It came close to the order block, didn't quite get there, failed and moved back down. So we've had a perfect ABCD correction from this. The fact that it hit into the 1-to-1, the fact that you've done that on a really nice downtrend, yeah, pretty perfect ABCD. I would be expecting a range to form, and then ultimately I think looking higher as long as we yeah, as long as the rest of the markets hold here, it's looking pretty good. So we'll come on to the altcoins in a second, but let's just go on the S&P. So S&P 500 did something very, very similar to Bitcoin yesterday. This was a daily NPOC and the weekly level. All right, so this is what we've been looking at for quite a while. So if you do just throw on the session volume profile here, there's the NPOC that we hit. That was yesterday. Bitcoin's come up a little bit further to hit that today. And realistically, again, you're looking at this as being the biggest area of the chart, unless we're going to see a move back up towards this trend line that has been keeping price down for such a long time. We do have another POC there at 3,950, but realistically, if it can push beyond here, this is where you're really seeing that significant block of price action that we had. Again, it was previous support, it became resistance, it became support again. Now is it going to act as resistance? If we can push beyond this, then I think a move up towards 4,100 is very likely, and we're going to be testing that trend line once again here. The Nasdaq. Simple on this one. Okay, just a little SFP of the highs. We've not really hit into any major POCs or anything. It was just an SFP of the highs of the local range. So the Nasdaq not quite performing as well as the S&P 500 has been recently. You can see that's a little bit further ahead there, and mainly that's the Nasdaq. The tech stocks haven't really pushed as much as the rest of the market has this week on earnings. So we did have earnings yesterday, the likes of Spotify, Apple, Microsoft not really quite hitting, and Tesla earlier on in the week not quite getting there, whereas we're seeing big resurgence from, weirdly, a lot of travel companies. A lot of companies in the energy sector are seeing a good resurgence right now, which is what's driving the S&P higher than the Nasdaq. Dollar. Okay, dollar's done what we thought it would do. Okay, quite simply, everything is doing what we thought it would do. So we have had, for the first time in a year, the first time we've had this is a break of market structure. Okay, so we have changed market structure on the dollar. I would have to go back and check if it is the whole year, but I'm fairly sure. Let's just do that right now. Okay, we'll pretend it's a stream. Okay, you have a low, you have a high, you have a low, you have a high, you have a low, that takes out the high. There's another low. This one takes out the high. Together, it's a bit of a range. Okay, you could say that there's a little break of structure there. You have a low. That one takes out the high. Moving on, let's just come over here. You put in a low, you take out the high. This low doesn't take out that low. This high takes out that high. This low doesn't take out that low. This high takes out that high. This low, this high, lower low. First time we've had that. apart from this tiny little thing here, but this you cannot say, I mean, sorry, this, yeah. This is no way like a little bit of a local internal thing that we've had previously. So we're down at the bottom of the channel. I was looking for a little bit of a move up, if I'm honest. I was looking for this to get a bounce and then to move up here before dropping, but we have dropped. We are at the lows of the channel. I would expect it to get some support. I would expect to pull back across the rest of the markets because of that, but realistically, yeah, I do think that this is pretty significant. So is this corrective, or are we looking at this as being a major break of market structure that's going to take us down here below 110, which has been just such a huge level for such a long time? Okay, you can see how we were just tapping into that 110 level for ages, put in this range above, change of market structure. Let's see what we get from this. Okay, obvious fact of that will be that the euro dollar is going up. We've headed into an MPOC there, but this for the first time again in a year, you've been in a downtrend. Okay, every time it's come into that golden pocket, reject, golden pocket, reject. This time, for the very first time this year, you have high to a low. You come in to the golden pocket. Okay, we're just about there at the moment, but it's got a lot higher, hasn't it, previously than it has. The 618 there, the 618 there, and almost at the 786 at this stage on this one. So something to be aware of. Okay, we are still looking at this as being, I mean, yeah, you go from your high to your low and you're into resistance. You have taken out some highs here, you have hit liquidity here, but yeah, we will just we'll see how this goes over the coming few days. So another one, GBP, we're expecting this to happen. The markets have been settled somewhat this week, and I am looking for a move up here on the GBP. Let's just quickly whiz over some alts. So I have been in a few trades. Okay, first of all, Cardano. So I was long Cardano, and we've come into this daily level. I'm keeping this very simple. I hit take profit off of that. I have also got trades open on Bits, not done a whole lot. Chili's. Okay, Chili's, I've actually, so I'm long from these lows, and I have, because it's not a position that I really feel that I want to be taking big profit on, I was looking to scale short and compound. It seems as though that's going to get stopped out, which is fine. Okay, I am long from the lows, and those are the bigger positions. This is almost an alternative at this stage to taking profit, because those lows that we had a couple of weeks ago and the subsequent ones, they didn't really give us that much opportunity to get in. So I don't want to be reducing position size when I'm playing a strategy that we put in a major low here. So I don't really want to be losing those long positions, especially when we've got negative funding on a lot of things still. So this looks, as an idea, like it's going to get stopped. If it can pull back down here and get another entry, great, because then I'd look to take it higher. If we're going to lose this and we're just going to be going for this trade, which is ultimately what it is anyway. Okay, I'm looking for that monthly open to come back up into there. That will be a new monthly level, because we're not going to get there before the end of the month. Probably, maybe we will, maybe we will, I don't know. But we'll have to see. Dot, top of the range again here. It was actually looking a little bit shaky yesterday. As a trader, you'd have to say that was a back test, and then you'd be looking lower, but it managed to get back in to the range because everything else has. You're looking at this hitting the top of the range here, and if it does move back into the POC, then that's going to be a critical point for it to hold. EGLD, I'm still patiently waiting for highs to be taken, so I'd like to see it hit $80. I'd love to see it hit $80, but for now I'd like to see it hit $60. That's where I'm going to be probably closing out of this trade, because it doesn't move particularly fast, this one. It's not a very big range, so I would look to close probably, or at least half of the position by the time we get up there. That's also in the challenge account as well, so yeah, that's going to be a big take profit if and when we do get there. I may consider just taking it early if we can't do it in the next day or so. Nothing else too much here. Solana's hit target, essentially. Okay, so we took the lows from down here, and essentially that's hit target. You've got the highs. Yeah, wherever that's going, it's that area. Okay. That's about it, really. QNT's just still doing its thing, still hovering around here. It's looking okay. I've not really changed my stance on this. And then you're seeing a lot of these low caps are doing quite well. So yeah, I'm going to wrap it up there. We will go back onto Bitcoin again. So right now, important that we hold 20,200. That's our current POC. And if we are going to move higher, you'd be looking at the range value area high, which is up here at 21,600. So support 20,200, resistance, we're there, and the next resistance, if we do push beyond that, 21,600. On that note, I'm going to go. We do have the we have the New York trading room coming up later on for those in the crew. And again, if anyone wants to go back over onto the website and you do want to take part in the prize draws, I can't bring the wheel up on here because I've already done it as an example once before and it won't show up again. But if you haven't already done the spin the wheel, do go visit torrescrypto.com and you have the chance to win some very nice prizes. And who knows, maybe you'll win a trial membership, maybe you'll get a big discount coupon, and maybe you can join us for the New York trading room later on. But yes, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers, bye!